What's up, everyone, and welcome to Creatively Enhanced, the show that is dedicated to visual artists and creative entrepreneurs. I'm your host and artist mastermind, Chantel. Whimsical, happy, and joyful. Those are the words that describes my guest today, Jules Gissler, on how she became an artist, her story on florals, painting women, pets, decadent desserts, you name it, she's done it. She's been pretty much across the nation, from New York to Atlanta, and she has such an air of expertise and wisdom on how she got started in the game by taking risks and just going for it despite divorce, despite being a mother, she still did it. And I just want to read a quick bio of her. Jules Gissler is a visual artist living in Phoenix, Arizona. She is known for her whimsical mixed media art that depicts beloved animals, feminine figures, florals, decadent desserts, and abstracts. Her work combines liberal use of acrylic with ink, hand-torn collage, sequins, and watercolors with colored pencils, among with other mediums. Jules uses a playful style to convey a message of connection and joy in all things that she creates. Jules' work has been displayed at the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport and the Phoenix Good Samaritan Medical Center. It can also be found in her private collections across the country. So, guys, sit back and relax and take in all the happiness of Jules Gissler. Welcome, Jules, to Creatively Enhanced Podcast. I am so happy to have you here as a guest today to tell us all about your journey as an artologist. How are you?
I am great, Chantel. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And before we jump into the interview, I want to start with an icebreaker question.
Okay.
If you could be a flower, what would it be and why?
Oh, man. Oh, I think, oh my goodness. Well, my two favorite flowers are lilac and tulips. And I just think, especially a tulip, I mean, it just oozes happiness.
Yes, that is such a great representation of you as well. I personally love roses.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Roses
the
are just,
smell. Yeah, they just scream romance to me. And sometimes, don't tell my husband, but I could be quite the hopeless romantic. So
oh, I'm with you on that. I am right there with you.
very cool. Well, I want to start by saying that your artwork presents a playful style and interprets joy and happiness. It truly brings out the child in me and is nostalgic to my childhood memories. Can you tell us your story?
Oh my goodness. I do like to tell stories. Let's see. I've always been interested in art. Back in grade school, I was the one that always was volunteered to do the bulletin board. When I was, oh gosh, in fifth grade, my neighbor and I wanted to go to the fair and just be able to spend whatever we wanted to spend. So we came up with this idea of painting rocks, and they looked like little kids' tennis shoes. And we made a little box, a shoe box out of index cards and put little tissue paper. I mean, I get very detailed.
Mhm.
And this little piece of concrete that went in there like a shoehorn. We had the label on there. Anyway, we took these rock kids' tennis shoes in a box to all our neighbors and sold them and got to go on to the fair and ride whatever we wanted to.
Nice.
But so I've always been creative. And I also taught during the summertime when I was in high school art to at the city parks rec program, which was fun, to be surrounded by all these cool kids that were interested in art and just playing.
Mhm.
Um, and then I graduated. I mean, I took art all through school, and then graduating graphic design, but that was a little bit too symmetrical. And I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia, and ended up actually working at this national envelope company in the graphics division, and it was so boring. And I became a manager of that, and so I started on the side doing this hardware jewelry, and I would do little shows like at Macy's, little pop-ups, and um, just other boutiques. And then it just kind of led into there was American Craft Council had a show down there, and they needed vests were really big, and they needed somebody to paint vests for their silent auction. So I painted this vest, and Helen Ballard Weeks from Ballard Designs had bid on it, but she lost out to this woman from Nashville. And that kind of got me started into making pillows. Actually, I had done I came up with this idea to do a rock pillow made out of foam, and I carved it with an electric knife, covered it with velvet and velour, and took oatmeal and painted it to look like moss or lichen. Took it down to the Design Mart in Atlanta, and asked them, if they would put them in their showroom. And he said he liked the rock pillows, but he needed something else with the line. So then I thought about that vest I had painted. So I went home and I painted all this canvas and made it into pillows and sewed things on it, took it back, and he said, well, these won't do because they don't go with the line. So he recommended somebody else. Went over there, and she loved them, but she said, I don't, these rock pillows don't fit. And I was so determined about these rock pillows.
Yeah.
So I took them to this other design mart there, and I walked in there, and the lady said, what were you on acid when you did these? And I just said, these have been well received at the mart. Thank you, goodbye.
Yeah.
But they didn't they never caught on. That was a sad story.
Oh. And so how did that lead your journey into what you do today?
Oh my goodness. There's a further journey.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So I started doing the pillows and would do them at shows. And at that time, because of my ex-husband's job, we were moving around quite a bit. We were in New York City. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do children's books instead. And so I came up with these characters called the Bopples. And I had written this, it was about accepting people's differences, and they were wearing these sweater suits. And I was out walking my dog one day, and the bus came by with these Teletubbies, and I thought, oh my gosh, they look just like the Bopples. But so I was dabbling in writing children's books and illustrating them, sending them out. And it's just such a long process. And I was working with a publisher at one time, but she ended up getting laid off. It sat there again, and then she ended up not doing it. So I kind of gave that up. Went back to the pillows, and I sold some to Barney's and ABC Carpet and Home in New York City, and little boutiques, and got them in some other merchandise marts. But so that's kind of what I did, because we moved around quite a bit. And then when I moved, we were here when I had a daughter. And so that took, of course, I wanted to spend all my time with her.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of on the side. And then when we went to Denver, then to Phoenix. And after a few years, we went through a divorce. And that was when I said, you know what, you've got to live your passions. This is your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's when, again, I started doing my hardware jewelry, and I wrote this book called Getting Your Magic Back. It's just a 2 lines per page, because at that time, when I was going through my divorce, people said, oh my gosh, you need to read this and this. And my head was about to explode. So I was just, and it just kind of came to me. And I went on Kickstarter to get it printed. And, I was being very vulnerable, because people would know about my life. And
Yeah.
So I did that, and then it just kind of led to I started painting dogs and flowers, and from that, people wanted cards, and then people asked me to do their dogs, which led to the commissions,
Mhm.
um, and I've always been kind of confused. Okay, do I want to be a painter or do I want to be an illustrator? And
Mm.
so I've just kind of done a little bit of everything, and I love doing most recently abstracts. I love doing women with stories, which I'm now bringing onto canvas. I was doing them on
Right.
watercolor. I write these quirky little stories,
Mhm.
and then the commissions of the dogs and cats, and I do both whimsical and realistic. And the whimsical are, in pajamas or Hawaiian shirts. And I did a commission with Hoka and Soul Sports, which is local, and I've also done pies for this awesome pie shop here called Pie Snob at all of their locations. And I have something really exciting that is happening soon. The launch date is June 5th. I collaborated with Michael Gray uh, with his sandals,
Mhm.
and I'm going to have a couple of my paintings on Birkenstocks.
Wow. Congratulations on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, something you said that I wanted to bring back was you said when you were painting the vest, was that your first silent auction at the time that you participated in?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and somebody had just told me about it. Yep. And so that was a lot of fun to do, and
Mhm.
especially I was just that got me into pillow. A couple of my pillow designs were in Ballard
Mhm.
Designs also.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, and then another thing too that you had mentioned was how you move state to state. And I'm going to ask this for all the artists because this is a dialogue that I've had with some of my art friends and my mentees is that in different states, art opportunities are different. Would you say that is the case?
Oh,
From
definitely.
from New York to Atlanta to even here now in Phoenix, Arizona. Like, what would you say was the most fruitful of where you've been?
Oh gosh. Well, that's a hard question because I just kind of rolled with it and did different things.
Mhm.
Um, but my staple, I would always sell those pillows. Now I don't do the pillows anymore, but um, oh, that's a good question. Richmond, I did the pillow. I would, seek out little shows
Mm.
at each place where I'd go to, and then when I was in New York City, I got involved in SCBWI, the Society of Children's Writers and Illustrators,
Mhm.
and that's what got me involved in that.
Ni
Um, and in Denver, I was more a mom then, so I didn't really have time. But if a show would come up, I would do the pillows, and I always have done my hardware jewelry all throughout. It's
Mhm.
kind of a timeless thing.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, yes, it definitely confirms different states provide different opportunities, but something that I hear in that and what you say is that you went for the opportunities that presented in every state, right?
Yes,
Yes.
you just talk to people, and I think it does help getting into just little shows and just
Mhm.
see what people are interested in
Right.
and just talking with people. Yes, definitely.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, networking is so important. It is so important for our careers, especially getting into art exhibits, getting into different parts of the art industry, right? Illustrations, graphic designing, wherever it may be, we have to network and connect. And I love how you explained your examples of what you went through, your journey, even as a mom, even in your divorce, you still overcame, you still went for it. So big ups to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So on your Instagram profile, it says in your bio that you're an artologist. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh, I just made that up. I just thought it was a fun word. I love words, and
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of Dr. Seuss, and I guess artologist just kind of sums up everything I do, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Um, and I also came up with this word, instead of just saying, "Oh, I hope my art makes you smile," I call it smile-ishness.
That's good.
A little crazy, yes.
Now with that, if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it?
Oh, well, of course, just making somebody smile or laugh or,
Yeah.
I think just bringing joy to people's lives is
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah. And you definitely do that with your work. You give your feelings, your thoughts, and how you want people to feel. You definitely portray that in your artwork. Um,
I appreciate that.
yeah, of course. Now, during your art career, what is the most important thing that you've learned?
Oh, I think I live by the words, "Why not?" I think,
Mm.
you just have all these opportunities coming at you, and sometimes you don't know where they're gonna lead, and
Mhm.
so just taking advantage of everything, even if you're like, "Nah, maybe I should," just do it, you know?
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now for all the mommies out there, even myself, I have 3 kids, I'm married, and sometimes my responsibilities here with my family can not be a hindrance, but it can slow you down in getting into the art scene. Do you have any advice for anyone who's in that position and how they can overcome those hurdles of being a mother and a wife and also pursuing the dream as an artist?
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully your partner is very supportive. I know that,
Oh,
like, on
absolutely.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturdays was always kind of my day to do things, and, you know, getting up early or staying up late, but you do need your sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is a little bit, more difficult, but you can always work your way around it. I find that even if I just scribble in a whatever, uh,
Mhm.
sketchbook or whatever, and try to just do that, it's kind of a meditation, or bring your kids into the art, just
Mhm.
just all play together, and
Yes.
um and they'll learn from you. That's for sure.
Yeah. I agree with that. My daughter, she's 6 years old and she's definitely a talented artist herself and she loves color. I'll have to send you some of her work, but she loves colors, rainbows, butterflies, flowers, and her work is so vibrant. And I definitely need to cultivate that more in her. So thank you for that. That inspired me to do more with her. So thank you for sharing
Oh, I
that.
love that. Um one time, just a quick little note,
Mhm,
my daughter wanted to get a camera because we were going to Montana, where I'm from, over the summer, and so I said, "You know what?" Um, because she was into making bottle cap necklaces. I said, "Well, let's, do it at take it to school and see if any kids want to buy it." And then we put flyers in the neighbors' mailboxes, and she earned that money to get that camera. So it was like she was
mhm.
creative, um and found her had found her joy there
Yeah.
and got a camera.
Yes. Okay. Now, uh, something else too that I wanted to go back on when you were telling me your story was how you got into so many like big time, big name companies. How did that process look? How did you find those companies like Ballard Designs, for example? I mean, how did you, you know what I mean? Like, what was
Right.
the process? Because currently I have some licensed contracts with like hospitality firms and different licensed companies that I can't say, but
Right.
I know there's a process to it. That does the What does the process look like for you from clothing and products and print on demand?
Oh gosh. Well, like with Ballard Designs, it just happened because I had done that vest, and I thought, well, I might as well just call on her. So
Mm.
I I called her and set up an appointment and showed her my pillows, and she was interested in them, and she knew she had to fit on the vest. Let's see, I how else did I get in? Let's see, in New York City again, I just would call on the people. ABC Carpet and Home, that was amazing. And I know sometimes it's difficult to get in touch.
Yeah.
And Henry Bendel in New York City, this was very cool. They had, and I don't know if they still do it, but once a month they would have, I think they called it a look-see, and everybody would sit in this room, and one by one they'd call you, and you put out your wares on the table, and they decide if they wanted to order them or not. It was kind of fun.
That is cool. I wish I had stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, I think I just did a lot of calling them up or emailing them, and always, attaching your work so that they can see what it looks like if they don't have time.
Mhm. I truly admire the risk, the taking the opportunity to just go on and grabbing it. I'm gonna call this person because I know that they're connected to where I want to go or what I'm interested in. I absolutely admire that about you.
Oh, well, thank
Because
you.
that's the common denominator in everything you've said is the fact that you went for it. You made the call, you took the risk, the jump, the leap, right? And you was like, this is what I'm going for. Because you knew that your work needed to be out there somewhere. And you did it. You didn't stop at divorce or having a child. You went for it, right?
It's your passion, so you've got
Mm.
to. It. I've got. Can I tell you another little story?
Absolutely, yeah, go for it.
So, on that note, there used to, I don't even know if it's still around, a magazine called W Magazine, and it's Women's Wear Daily. And they had this article in there. This was back when I lived in Atlanta, and this designer, Theo Fennell was his name. And my roommate had just moved over to London to work at the College of London. And that was when I was doing my hardware jewelry, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna call this guy up because they didn't have email back then or texting.
Mhm.
So I called him up and I said, I'm going to be in the city, and can I make an appointment with you? Well, he was so generous and nice, and I went over there with my Ziploc bag full of hardware jewelry, and I met with them and I spread it out. And this was right at the beginning. I was not a salesperson at all. And
Mm.
he was so kind. He said, if you are serious about jewelry design, you should come over here. There's, this fine jewelry school that you could take 2 years. And so anyway, he said, I want you to go over to Harrods, because he had his jewelry in Harrods, and talk to this person and see if you can get your hardware jewelry in there.
Mhm.
I was so scared. I was like, oh my gosh. And I went over to Harrods and I asked if this lady was there, and they said, no, she's not. I said, okay, thank you. Goodbye. And then I walked up Portobello Street, I think it was, and I met this Italian woman just to see if anybody there was interested in my jewelry. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome." She said, "You should move over here. You can be my guest and then go to the
Mhm.
school that he was talking about." All I could think about is my dad is so conservative. He says to work for this company the rest of your
Mhm.
life and earn your pension. And so, needless to say, I didn't do it. And fast forward, it was 3 years ago. I was over in London, and I said, all I want to do is go into Harrods to see Theo's stuff. So we go in there, and they said, oh, he pulled out like 5 years ago. Well, we're in the cab driving, and here is this building that says Theo Fennell. And I said, my boyfriend said, "Do you want to go in there, Peter?" And I said, "Sure, yeah." So we stopped. We went in there, and I didn't even ask if he was there. But now Theo, designs jewelry for Elton John and the King and Queen and
Mm.
all this. And so I go home, and he's on Instagram, and so I sent him a message, and I said, back when I was in my 20s, I had met with you, and you're so kind, and my career took a different direction, but and he messaged back. I mean, it was just
Wow.
so nice. Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, that is so cool. Like, Wow. I'm really speechless because I'm telling if okay, so listeners, if you haven't gathered something already from this, just for the fact of taking risks and just going for it by now, like that alone should give you the push. Because I felt motivated and inspired to just go for the dream. Thank you
Oh,
so much for sharing that story.
oh, you're so welcome.
Now, let's get into for our listeners. Anybody in the art industry or becoming an entrepreneur, perhaps, what advice can you give them to get started today?
Um, Again, I just think it's the why not.
Mhm.
Just and when you're an artist also, I think it's just trying different avenues, you know,
Yeah.
like I sell cards, I do commissions, I do shows, I try to post on Instagram daily if I can. And it doesn't have to be perfect that you post, and a lot of people like it when it's not, or you could do your
Mhm.
process um and just being on all the social medias. And another thing, I'm redoing my website, so it's taken a long time, but I one thing that you should do is have an email list and try to, email everybody at least once a month. And that, unfortunately, I don't have that set up yet.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you guys, do it.
That's right. I agree 1,000% because your email marketing list um is people who actually believe in what you do and what you have to offer.
Right. And when
So
you do
yeah.
shows, definitely get email lists
Mhm.
at shows.
Yes, yes, that is key. Um, okay, so we're almost to the close here. And before we close out, I would love for you to read your book, Getting Your Magic Back, because I believe there's such a powerful story in there that will help someone who's going through something life-changing and they need to hear the raw feelings of what that feels like and how you overcame that. So, if you don't mind sharing that story with us, I would love it.
I would love that. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So it's just like 2 lines per page. Excuse me. And the first spread, there's a word that just kind of summed it up with three, with an exclamation point, and it begins with an F and it ends with a K. But and then I did abstract paintings for the background. But okay, here I go, and that first spread is that word bump. Okay.
Mhm.
So then we turn the page, and it's my world as I know it no longer exists. Comfort and boredom and glittery bits. Head popping, mind blowing, soul wrenching pain captured my body. Nothing is tame. Long run support groups and venting to friends. A thick fog is swelling. When will it end? Match dating, speed dating. What am I doing? Distracting, yes, but who am I fooling? My rent has gone up. I'm just getting by. Existing on air. Of course, my car died. I've sold things, I've bartered and narrowed my life. I've taken odd jobs just to lessen the strife. Stop, breathe. I must focus on me. What is my life? What does it mean to me? I turn toward my passions, sleeping deep in my soul. Wake up, I need you. We are changing my role. Paint and humor and hardware jewels. I'm living my heart. Screw all the rules. Being it, breathing it, making it mine. Jules is Jules. I just needed time. My spirit is soaring. My new life's unfolding. My foggy head blocked life finally eroding. My yellow brick road is wavy, no doubt. Some bricks trip me up, but it's a heart stirring route. I'll continue to push forward and listen to my gut. Persistence, patience, and humor. There is no time for but.
Mhm.
My words for you are simple. If your world should somehow crack, your heart knows what your dreams are. Give them life and get your magic back.
I'm clapping. Okay. Thank you for sharing your story with the world. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you, Chantel.
so, what's next for you?
Oh gosh, I just, get that website done and see what happens
Mhm.
the Burks, and then continue doing commissions. I just love painting the dogs because you just feel such an attachment. And then and these women, like I said, I moved them onto the canvas and they have a little story, quirky story. I love writing quirky stories, so we'll see where that goes.
Yes, it will be successful. I truly believe that.
Oh, thank you.
So, before we go, can you tell the listeners how they can contact you?
Oh, sure. On my website, it's julesgissler.com, or you can just email me at jules@julesgissler.com. And I'm on Instagram under Jules A. Gissler, and LinkedIn, I think I'm just Jules Gissler on there, and Facebook, Jules Gissler -artist. I'm all over the place.
Wonderful. And this information will be in the show notes as well. So, guys, if you want to connect with Jules, she seems like the one to network with for sure. She can give some great wisdom. Please don't waste her time. So, thank you so much for, interviewing with me on here, being one of my first featured guests. Yay! And hopefully more to come in our collaborations in the future. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Chantel.
You're welcome. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in today to listen to the story of Jules Gessler. She is the artologist, a creative in many different areas in the field, from illustrations, being an author. She even has a t-shirt line that you should check out. If you have any inquiries and want to connect with Jules, check out the show notes. You can reach out to her directly through her Instagram or email her through her website, and I'm pretty sure she'll be open to assist you. Until next time, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in to Creatively Enhanced Podcast, where this is the podcast for visual artists that are looking to expand their businesses beyond the canvas.